Well, hello. I'm not sure who's wandering in just yet. I'm just getting set up to get started. But I know this event starts at 4 o'clock, but I'm going to wait until some more people actually kind of catch up and get in before we really get started. So if you guys are just joining me now, I'm going to be doing like a live workshop talking about how to reset and clear your own personal energy and the energy in your living space. So, oh goodness, why does this camera look like I'm short as hell today? I don't know. Let's figure this out. Okay, so hello, welcome in, guys. If you guys are just joining me now, I am doing a workshop today where I'm going to be talking about how to basically reset and clear your personal energy, which is, I call it energetic hygiene, because you got to keep that in check also, and how to do that for your own living space. So I'm going to go over some things. I'll get started in a few minutes. Hello, Jason. Hello. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of wait a couple minutes. I'm not going to jump right into it as soon as we get in here, because I know there's going to be more people showing up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to chat for just a little bit and talk a little bit about what we're going to do during this event and hopefully how this works. I've only done one other live workshop event in here in TikTok. Oh, thank you, Jason. Thank you for the vote of confidence. And basically what I did last time that seemed to work is I've got an outline of stuff so I can make sure I stay on topic, right? I'm going to go through and talk about all the different things that we're going to cover, which is going to talk about how to reset and clear your own personal energy and how to reset and clear your energy in your living space. So I've got different things that I want to cover, and at the end of all of that, I promise I will open it up for Q&A, so everyone can ask as many questions as you'd like that are pertaining to this at the end. And to just let anybody else know who's just joining us now, this is going to be a little free workshop that I'm doing about how to reset and clear your own personal energy and how to reset and clear the energy in your living space, because both of those things can have a big effect over how you feel, how well you sleep at night, how well you're able to regulate your emotions. There's a lot of things this can have an effect with, so I want to make sure we kind of go over things. It's interesting because, yes, I usually come in here and do live personal readings during intuitive tarot reading classes, or sessions, I should say. And I used to teach workshops on what I'm talking about today, and I talk about this and share this a lot with people because I really am a firm believer in it. Like I said, it's one of these things that I cannot express enough how important it is and how it can make a big shift in your life without taking up a lot of time and a lot of effort, but it's all about focused intention. So like I said, I'm just getting ready to get started. I've got a little outline. I promise I will go through the outline, and when I'm done at the end of this, I will open it up if anybody wants to ask questions. So if anytime during this workshop, if you ask questions down in the comments and I don't get to them right away, it's because I'm trying to stay focused, because I know me and my ADHD brain can be all over the place sometimes. Okay. So hopefully this is making sense. So if you guys are just joining me, hello, welcome in. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a workshop on how to reset and clear your own personal space. Your personal living space and your own human space where you are in your body. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start. I'm going to make sure I got my notes. Yes, I actually printed out an outline so I can actually stay on point today. So it's basically, if you've ever been in my lives, or if you haven't, you may have heard me talking about something called energetic hygiene. So the concept of energetic hygiene is just kind of like how your personal hygiene and the hygiene in your house, or if you got to run through things through the laundry. Our own personal energy and the energy in our living space can get very cluttered, not only with just our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, but everything that we may be not even realizing carrying it with us. So when we're outside of our house, especially all of us have empathic abilities, we're kind of pulling in a lot of emotions, feelings, all of these thoughts. It's energy, and it literally, the best way to explain it, and I've said this before, is it usually collects in what's called your solar plexus, which is literally like a band of energy that's right around the midsection. And I promise I will go through the main 7 energy points in the body and talk more about that now that I could do that more in depth, because I'm not in the middle of trying to do readings. And I promise I will talk about that too, because understanding how all of this energy system works and how it can affect you here and on the outside, and how the outside can affect this, it'll help you understand a lot more and put you back in the driver's seat, help you smooth out some stuff, clear some things, and hopefully also sleep better. That's another big thing. We're going to talk about that too, because especially if you're not able to really clear your energy and reset it before you go to sleep at night, you could end up with a lot of extra energy that keeps your brain going all night. So you may be physically sleeping, but you may not be energetically resting. So we're going to talk about that too, I promise, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of get into the jump of things. And like I said, so if anybody jumps in later, or you think, oh my gosh, maybe I missed something, this whole session is being recorded, and I promise I will be taking this after it's done, and I will download it and I will upload it to my YouTube channel, so you'll be able to watch the replay. Now, also, everything in here, you don't have to take notes or anything. I went ahead and created a little workbook kind of thing for this. So when you are done with this, there will be something that you can go into my profile on TikTok, and it's free to download. You'll be able to click on it and download the PDF, which has kind of like the outline of notes for everything and some exercises and stuff you can do about the stuff we talk about afterwards. So there is stuff to back this up. Don't worry, you don't have to take notes. I want you to just kind of listen and kind of just take this in. And like I said, at the end, if you have any questions, I'll be open for Q&A at the end of things, guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this. So like I said, basically what we're going to do is, this may be a little different than how things have been explained to you in the past. As a teacher and a coach and everything, I've always really felt more resonance with teaching people to empower themselves than just about protection and fear. Because I think in the long run, that helps you feel better. And like I said, puts you back in the driver's seat, which is where we'd all rather be with these things, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about a little bit about this. So for everybody that's here for this event, welcome in. I'm so glad you can join us. And we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about some things. If you guys are new to this and you've never been in one of my live events, hello, my name is Crystal. I'm an intuitive reader. I've been here on TikTok about almost a year now, but I've been professionally doing readings for 35 years. I've also been doing empath empowerment coaching and workshops and things for several decades. And I wanted to start being able to offer some of the things I used to do in workshops in person here during live events in TikTok. And whenever I do these, like today, I will not only be doing this, I'll be recording it, and I'll be able to download that and upload it to my YouTube channel. And there should always be something in my profile or something where you can click on it and download, which will give you all the notes of what we covered during these workshops and some exercises to kind of reinforce it and learn it and kind of put it into practice moving forward. So hopefully that makes sense. So for everyone who's joining me, hello, welcome in. Like I said, let's go ahead. I'm gonna make sure I stick to my notes because I'll go way off. I'll go off-roading. I don't just go off subject, I go off-roading, and I don't want to take you guys on a safari today. So hopefully we will stick to where we're going. So basically the biggest thing about this is to learn how to stay grounded, which I know these days can feel really hard to do, be able to be balanced, and most importantly, empowered, because that's the biggest thing. So many of us get caught up in the emotions and feelings like everything outside of us is in charge of us, when in all actuality, that's an illusion that I'm going to help kind of break through that today and help you put you back in the driver's seat. Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple of things. Let's first start talking about something super important that you may or may not have heard about, but I'm going to make this super simple, I promise. So we're going to talk about the energy, or the energy spots in the body, or the chakra points. So you may have heard of energy chakra points in the body, you may not have, but there are 7 main ones. Oops, little notice just popped up. There's 7 main ones within and right around the human body that affect us in a very prominent way every day. And we have control over what goes on with those. And we get to clear those out and reset them whenever we need to. So let's go ahead and talk about the 7 basic ones, and then I'm going to talk about 2 extra ones that are super important. Okay, so The first main one that we're going to talk about is the crown chakra, which is the one that's going to be almost right, if literally, it's so funny, if it was right above the head, if I looked at it as an energy profile, it almost looks like a cone coming from the top of the head. That is going to be the chakra point that is more in connection with higher source, higher dimensional beings, angels, God energy, all of whatever resonates with you, higher power, that's where it's almost like your direct connection to. The next one is going to be your third eye. This is a lot of what I would call your processing center, which means you're not getting information directly to your third eye, but a lot of times, especially, it's coming through the crown chakra and it's being processed like a computer in your third eye chakra. The next one is going to be your throat chakra. Now this one, even though the first one we think of is voice, singing, talking, all of those things, but not realizing throat chakra also governs expression, which can be through art, it could be through writing, it could be through a lot of other things, even dance, believe it or not, because it's an expression of soul. That's what throat chakra is talking about. Then of course we have the heart chakra. Right below the heart chakra, like if I pointed at the human skeleton, right at the base of your rib cage, going down to your belly button, kind of around, that's your solar plexus. That is what I lovingly call your energetic lint filter to the human body. And that's going to be super important because we're going to really talk about that one and how, when that one gets really clogged up, how it blocks the lower chakras. So right below your solar plexus chakra is your sacral or sacral chakra. That is the chakra that is usually governing, that's the best way to explain it. Of course, it's got your body parts in that area. So yes, it has a lot to do with relationships and things like that. But more importantly, it actually is also your safety and comfort zone. So when our sacral chakra is kind of out of whack, or our solar plexus is super crowded and needs to be cleared, that sacral chakra will feel it usually first. That's when we'll start feeling a little unsettling. Ooh, hold on. Goodness, sorry. Too funny. I thought I turned my ringer way off. Sorry guys, that's hysterical. Sorry about that. Of course, I get some unneeded phone call that was probably just an ad for something. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so back to we were talking about the sacral chakra. So, like I was saying, when the solar plexus will get really crowded up with a lot of energetic lint filter, it's your lint filter. So when that gets really clogged, what happens is your sacral chakra will start to feel it the first. And usually that will come with starting to feel like a sense of unsettling, uncomfortableness, uncertainness. It can make you also get a lot of old doubts, old feelings will start to pop out when that sacral chakra is getting blocked, because solar plexus is right above that. It's almost like a whole chain reaction through. So right below, which is really almost it's really your base of your spine, is your root chakra. Your root chakra is what roots you or grounds you into this body, is probably the best way to explain it. Your seat of your soul is sitting in your heart chakra, but your root, or what is grounding you in this body, is your root chakra, which if I had to touch it is literally right at the base of your spine. Now, those are your 7 main ones. So remember I said you've got the crown chakra, you've got the third eye, you've got the throat chakra, you've heart chakra, solar plexus, sacral chakra, and root chakra. Now there's 2 other chakra points, and don't worry guys, all of this will be in the thing you can download for free, so you don't have to take notes about this. The other 2 big ones that are super important ones is your soul star chakra, which is right above. So if your solar plexus, if your crown chakra is right here, right almost above it, probably about here if we had to pinpoint it, is your soul star chakra. That is your life focus or life purpose chakra point, which means that's how you connect a lot with what was going on in past lives, what you are meant to be working on and focusing on in this lifetime. So when that gets blocked and needs to be uncleared, that could also make you feel like you can't focus on things. So as you can see, every one of these points has an effect that if there's any kind of blockage or slowing down of traffic jam somewhere, it's going to cause a chain effect down the way. Now, the other chakra point I want to talk about, if I had to point at my feet and about 12 inches below my feet, no matter if you're laying down or not, is your earth star chakra. That is the chakra point that grounds or roots you in this lifetime. Very interesting. Not in this body, but in this lifetime. So now we just talked about 9 separate points of energy in the body and how important they are. Now, one of the most common things that happens, and we'll talk about it a little more in detail, is the solar plexus. The solar plexus is that band of energy that's right at the waist point, right? That is like your energetic lint filter. So it means like if you're feeling emotions, having thoughts about things, right? They're all going to kind of collect there. As you go out into the world and you're around people and you're picking up everybody else's energy, it's going through your filtration system and getting stuck in your solar plexus. So if you're not clearing that out, you can start finding yourself picking up the energy of other things and other people, of, frustration, anger, anything, and you start mirroring that energy because it's kind of all stuck in there. So we're going to talk a little more in detail about how to clear that, but I wanted to bring up these different points. So when certain points of energy in your body get clogged or there's a traffic jam, it can cause kind of like a domino effect, but I don't want you to panic. There is actually a very simple way, and I promise before we finish this, we're going to talk about a way that's super easy to clear and reset all of these in a couple of minutes a day. Super, like less than 2 minutes a day. So we're going to talk about that at the end. And if you guys are just joining me now, welcome in. My name is Crystal. I'm doing a whole little workshop about how to reset and reset and acclimate your inner energy and your outer energy, like in your living space. So we're talking about the energy points, and don't worry if you guys just jumped in and like I missed it, don't worry, there's going to be a whole replay of this that is going to be listed on my YouTube channel, and you don't have to take notes because I created a whole outline with different exercises included that is a free download that is in my profile here in TikTok. So when you go and you click on that, there's going to be a link in there, and you click the link and you'll see a bunch of buttons. There should be 2 or 3 buttons down, should be a button that says that this is the workbook for this, and you just click on that, download it for free. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I've got my notes here because I want to make sure I like stay on topic. I've got to. Okay, so let's first talk about clearing and resetting your own personal energy, okay? Because like I said, this is one of those things that is super, super important, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Now, there is an exercise that I talk about. If you've seen my lives before, you're probably gonna be like, I remember this, but we're gonna talk about this one because it's super easy. It's actually a way to kind of reset all of the energy points, all 9 of them, believe it or not, in one exercise. So I'm gonna talk about this one now. Even if you've heard it, that's okay. There's people that probably haven't, so we're going to go ahead and talk about this really quick. So the first exercise I'm going to teach you is the kind of what I call heart nourishment exercise. So this one, the best time to do this is first thing in the morning and right before you go to sleep for the night. It's not hard to do, and it takes less than a minute each of those times. And we're going to talk about how you're going to end up with a tool to use all day long, no matter how frustrated or whatever you feel, to reset your energy super quick in seconds, okay? So the exercise is not hard to do. The best time to do it, like I said, is first thing in the morning, and that means before you pick up your phone. Now, I know a lot of us, like me, pick up our phone in the morning because that's where our clock is at, so that's how we know what time it is. But since this exercise takes less than a minute, it's okay. As soon as you start waking up, don't try to do that first. Try to do this exercise first because it's going to put you in a much better place, okay? And it's not hard to do. You're going to take your first hand right where this palm is, and you're going to lay it right where that sternum bone is. So it's just going to lay right here, and you're going to take the next hand just like this. And you'll know you have your hands right at the right spot if you're holding it just like I am right now, and it's resting against your chest like this. You're going to feel your words like I'm talking right now. I can feel my words actually vibrating right through my heart space into the palms of my hands, where it's actually like tickling the palms of my hands when I do this. So it's literally vibrating through the palms of my hands. So all you're going to need to do is just take a slow breath in, slow breath out, and repeat the words, thank you. And we're just going to do that 3 times in a row. Just as simple as this. All it is, just a slow breath in, slow breath out, thank you. And you're just going to do that 3 times in a row. So breath in, breath out, thank you. Breath in, breath out, thank you. 3 times in a row. That's all. Less than a minute, right? But we just did 5 very powerful things in this. The first thing is, well, the breathing part. What was so important about that? Well, that's actually breath work. That is a type of meditation, but most importantly, it is a way to regulate. So when you slowly breathe in and slowly breathe out with intention, you are actually lowering your anxiety, lowering your frustration, and clearing your confusion. Believe it or not, because our clarity is usually like behind all that static. So when there's a lot of anxiety, frustration, anything that's distracting you, your clarity gets lost in the mix. So that breathing goes ahead and slows that down. That's the first thing we're doing. The second thing is, why do I have you put your hands over your heart? Well, your heart isn't just where you love from. This is actually the seat of your soul. So where your soul is rooted in your body is in your heart space. So when you put your hands here, you're actually connecting with who you are at the soul level. Now, the next reason why this is really important, because also not only is this your power center, this is where your clarity sits. So your intuition and your discernment. Intuition is just information. No matter how incredibly detailed it can be, it's still just information. Discernment is what comes in there and says, why do I feel these things? So use an example. If you walk into a room and you either feel really welcome or you feel really put off, that's intuition. It's just information. Discernment comes in and says, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling that? And then you're able to move through it. That's where clarity comes in. Okay, so that's another reason why that's super important. Plus, in your heart space is also where your inner child lives. Now, you might have heard of people talking about doing shadow work or inner child work healing. This is actually a way to not only connect with your inner child, but to nourish them on a continuous basis. So it's an amazingly easy to do process for something that can be incredibly scary or overcomplicated. So not only that, one of the amazing things too about this is, remember when we put our hands over your heart and I said when you talk, you'll feel it vibrate through the palms of your hands because it's going right through your heart space? Well, the words thank you have the energy of gratitude. That is incredibly healing and nurturing. So not only are you connecting deeply with who you are as a soul, but you are also nurturing and loving yourself. And remember, your inner child is in there too. So you are connecting, nurturing, and loving your inner child at the same time. All of these things at once. Now, another thing too about this, remember I talked about the solar plexus earlier, how it gets full all the time, and we really need to clean that because we're going to have all kinds of problems in the energetic highway, so to speak. Well, this exercise, when you put your hand to the heart and you do the slow, intentional breath in and out, you clear your solar plexus, which means if there's any emotions, feelings, anything from yours or anybody else's stuck in that lint filter, it clears it out. So less than a minute, first thing in the morning, you've done 5 amazing things before you even start the day. Now, when you get ready to step out of bed and go into your day, yes, anxiety, frustration, confusion, all the other stuff can get it to you during the day. Anytime you're feeling anything that doesn't feel like you just felt then, all you need to do is take one hand, lay it over your heart, take a slow breath in, slow breath out, and you've cleared your solar plexus. So anytime during the day that you're feeling any of that, one hand to the heart, breath in, breath out. The reason why that's happening is because in the morning, why we do it 3 times in a row, not only are we really solidifying that that's what we're doing, we're actually creating new neural pathways that tell us that when we do this and breathe in and breathe out, we are loving, nurturing, and connecting with ourselves. So when we do that throughout the day, we are triggering our brain to remember what we did, and we will get the same benefits anytime we need to. So it's like taking little vitamin shots for your soul and heart all day long. Okay? So that's why I said it's a great tool to have in your tool belt, right? Now, at the end of the day, you're going to want to do this again because why? Well, besides the fact that you should nurture and fill your heart space up before you go to sleep and kind of connect, love, and nurture your inner child just one more time before you go to sleep, you should also clear out your solar plexus just in case something snuck in there before you go to sleep. Because I will tell you, when you go to sleep, physically go to sleep, and you have any kind of energy that's stuck in the solar plexus or stuck here, it's like having a bunch of little post-its all over you energetically that your brain will try to go through and process the whole time while you're sleeping. That's why you can physically go to sleep, right? But you wake up and you feel exhausted. That's why. So by doing this exercise, less than a minute in the morning, less than a minute at night, and anytime you need it during the day, every time you do this, not only clear the solar plexus, because you're nurturing and connecting with yourself as a soul, guess what? You clear and align all of your chakras when you do this in a little bit of time. So yes, it doesn't have to be some giant, crazy 3-hour session with your eyes closed and clearing your whole mind. You don't have to do that. It's wonderful if you can do that on occasion, but for the average person to do something every day, it should be as easy and as simple as remembering to take your vitamins or brush your teeth or do the other little things that we do for personal hygiene and health, right? But this is energetic hygiene. So now hopefully you understand why I call it that. Okay. So that's how you clear and reset your chakras. So all of those 9 chakras we were talking about, and you're like, oh crap, am I going to be stuck having to maintain all of these? It can be as simple as what I just talked about. When you do this exercise, you can be able to clear and reset those on a daily basis to really get started. Okay. So hopefully that starts making sense. So that's talking about what goes on with the physical body, right? And don't worry, like I said, if you guys are just joining me, there is going to be a little thing you can download that has all the notes from this, has the whole outline of this, and has some exercises to work on. So don't worry about having to take notes or anything or trying to remember what I just talked about. There is a link that's in my profile that will have that download for free in it. So let's go ahead, and now we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about clearing and resetting the energy in your living space, because no matter where that is, what size it is or anything, or if you share it with other people, you're going to need to clear and reset that energy, because understand too, just like your solar plexus, it can accumulate energy that you don't want to. And a lot of times it's not even your stuff, but it's almost like if you don't smoke and you have to walk through a whole cloud of people who are to get into your front door, and when you step inside and close the door, all you can smell is smoke. Kind of like the same thing, but energetically. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and talk about how to do this. And I'm going to talk, and don't worry, there's going to be, like I said, instructions later on to do this. Now, I want to explain that when you set up and do this, there will be a couple of things that you may or may not need, and you get to create this in a way that resonates with you. I cannot express that enough. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Oops. Okay, sorry. It's so funny. Ever so often I'm like, I thought I turned my notices off. Sorry about that, guys. So let's go ahead and first talk about, I'm going to explain the steps on what to do to clear and reset the energy in your living space. But before we get into that, I want to make it very clear that you get to choose whatever resonates with you, because that's what's going to hold the most weight or power with you, is what resonates with you. If I was here telling you, you need to call in the angels and da 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 da, and then you're like, I don't resonate with that, it wouldn't work for you, right? So I want you to understand that the simple concept of what we're going to do is we're going to ask or invite in the highest vibrational energy that we resonate with, which could be angels, it could be your spirit guides, it could be maybe the grandmother that you loved and adored that passed away that you're still connected with. You can call their energy in to help you with this. So the important part about this is to choose something that resonates with you, whatever that is. Okay, so the principle of this is many people have taught over the years to clear and reset the energy in your space. They say, get Palo Santo or sage or incense, Florida water, some kind of spray, something, light a candle to do something to clear negative or stagnant energy out. I want you to understand, those all work to do only that though, and just that. They will, yes, clear and reset. They'll clear, I should say not reset. They will clear like a broom. So imagine sage, Palo Santo, Florida water, any of the energy things that you heard about, sprays, all of this, incense, to clear negative energy or stagnant energy out, that is a broom. A broom only walks so far. It will sweep everything out of the room, but it can't guarantee that stuff won't get trapped back in. That's why we have things like rugs at the front door, rugs outside the front door, right? To help prevent that. We're going to talk about how to do that. Most of the information that's out there focuses just on that. There is 2 more steps to this process. The first step is, yes, you need to be able to bring that energy in that resonates with you and start sweeping and clearing all that energy out. Yes, we're going to do that. But that's usually where they stop. That's why if you've ever used sage, Palo Santo, any of those things, and you really went to town in your space and everything felt great for about 2 or 3 days, and then it got crazy. You got to sweep everything out, but that was kind of like you sweeped everything out and then you left the front door open and all the windows open with no screens on any of those things, and you can't understand why the house is full of dust and bugs. That's why. So yes, any of those things, and you get to choose whatever you want to work with. If you really love to burn sage, burn sage. If you love to use Palo Santo, use that. Anything that you want to use that will help sweep that negative and stagnant energy out, you get to choose that, whatever it is. The second part of what we're going to talk about is the third part is how to set up very clear energetic boundaries at the end. So we're going to do 3 things. We're going to be clearing all the stagnant and negative energy out of the space, right? But I also didn't talk about the fact you also need to immediately ask energy to be filled in. So this is the biggest thing too. So many places will talk about what to do to clear the energy out. But the problem is you've just now created a vacuum, which means there's nothing stagnant or negative in there. But guess what? There's nothing else in there. And just like a parking spot in a very busy parking lot, what's going to happen? The moment that one car pulls out, another one will pull in. So what does that mean? Is something negative going to come flying in your front door? Not usually, no. What's probably going to happen is if you're in that space and maybe you get a phone call, a text, or something that triggers something emotionally in you that was just unsettling, unhappy, frustrating, guess what? That energy can fill the space you're in and then stay there because there's nothing else to do in there. That's what can happen. Or you can maybe go out to the grocery store, have some, be around people that's energy doesn't feel good, and then you come in the house, and if you have no energetic boundary to keep that out like a screen door, guess what? That energy will just track right in with you. And then it's going to take up space there. You don't want those kind of squatters in your house. So we're going to go ahead and talk about how to do all those things. So don't worry if you guys are trying to figure out how to take notes on this. There is something that's free that you'll be able to download. It's a link in my profile that talks about all of these things, gives you all of the different steps on what to do. You don't have to take notes. I'm just going through and explaining what all these concepts are. So it makes it a little easier when you download that and you're like, I want to try this, and then you can understand what you're actually reading about. So let's go ahead and talk about the process. I'm going to use an example, and remember what I said. It's okay. You get to choose whatever type of energy resonates with you. If you connect a lot with angels, call in angels. If you have spirit guides you work with, you can call those in. If you can't think of anything else, but you had a grandmother that loved you dearly that passed away, you can invite their energy forward to help you to do this part. But basically what we're going to do is I'm going to use me for an example. So anything I'm saying, you get to admit or submit whatever you want in the place of. If I was doing it, I would go in, and when I usually do energy clearings, I usually call in my spirit team. I have specific angels and guides that I work with. So when I go into a space, I will go in there and say, I now clear this room. Now understand, you're like, why are you saying it's you? Yes, I'm inviting energy forward to help me in this, but I'm the one that's calling this all to happen. They are here to support me. They are not here to rescue me. There's the empowerment part of this and why this is super, super important, okay? So yes, before usually start this, and don't worry, it'll be in the notes. Usually what I do is I say, I'll tell you exactly what I say. I say, I now call forth Archangel Michael and my spirit guides to please come forth, and I activate you to help me be able to clear and reset the energy in my space. So now I have invited in the energy that resonates with me. As I go through the space, I use what resonates with me. Many times I use things like Palo Santo. Remember, you can use whatever you want. So say I lit my Palo Santo, I will now go through the space and say, and I'm saying I am, or I, because remember, I'm the one that's empowering myself to do this. I go through and say, I am now clearing out all negative and stagnant energy from this space. Next important thing is I'm going to now call in the energy I want to fill the space with. Super important. So I will go in and say, I now clear all stagnant and negative energy from the space. I now fill this space with love, prosperity, joy, happiness. that's what I'm going to do throughout that whole, and if I'm in one room, I will go to each point in the corners and say that again. And when I'm finished with that space, what did I just do? I cleared all the stagnant and negative energy. I called in the energy I wish to manifest in that space. Then the next step is I will say, and I now set clear energetic boundaries, and I walk the perimeter of the room and say, and I now set clear and energetic boundaries in this space to only allow energy for my highest good to pass through. I have now cleared all the negative and stagnant energy. I have called in the energy I wish to manifest into that space, and then I put in the clear, healthy boundaries in there. Now, that's all you're going to need to do in each room in your house. That's it, believe it or not. Now, the other two parts, especially if you've never done this before, is I usually also make a point of doing specifically at the very end. I also do that to whatever, if you have a front door and a back door to your living space, do both of them. If you have a front door and you live in an apartment and you have a sliding glass door that goes out to a little patio, do that door too. Because you want to make sure that any entrances or exits, because if you have a balcony, you'll go out on the balcony and come back in, right? So you should clear and reset that space of that doorway or pathway. Now, the other things that I can talk about too is you can clear and seal the different mirrors in your space, but that's going to be on a different level for more of a deeper thing, especially if you do more of an energetic practice. It's more important to do things like that when you also do things like if you collect vintage things or antiques or things. So I'll go more into detail to that. It's not actually hard to do, but in short, it's the same principle. You're going to go in and you're going to basically go around the edges of the mirrors with whatever you use to clear and reset. If it's Palo Santo, you can do that. You can do sage, whatever you're doing. But basically, you're doing what I said before, where you're saying, I am now, and you would say, I am now clearing and sealing this mirror. And same thing. So in short, energetically, no matter how big the space is, it shouldn't take you more than 10-15 minutes. I recommend doing this whole clearing and resetting at least once a month. Once a month is pretty good. Now, if something big and emotional happens at some point in time during the month and you, instead of waiting, you can go ahead and clear and reset it. But whatever the size of your living space is, it shouldn't take more than 10-15 minutes to do this whole thing once a month. Okay? So hopefully that starts making sense. So the biggest thing is most ways of teaching how to clear and reset energy is just going in and kicking everything out, sweeping it out. But they don't talk about what to do with the empty space, which remember I said, as soon as I cleared that space, I am now filling it with what I intend for energy-wise in that space. And then I'm putting my clear boundaries around the edges. So hopefully that's starting to make sense now. Those are the two missing elements that are usually not there in a lot of the ways that people teach how to clear and reset energy in your living space. Now, why is this super important? Especially wherever you sleep. That's the other big part. So I always tell people when you're clearing and resetting, especially wherever you sleep. If you sleep, of course, in your bedroom, but you take a lot of naps on your couch, do it in your living room too. But basically, when you go in to put the boundaries in there and you say, I now clear this space, only allowing energy for my highest good, if it's space that you actually do sleep in, I also usually include in that saying, and while I am sleeping, I ask for protection from my angels, guides, or my higher self. And it puts in that added layer. So when you actually physically go to sleep, you are going to be physically resting and energetically resting, which is incredibly important. Okay. So hopefully this kind of makes sense about what we talked about. So like I said, so if any of this that you guys are jumping in and you missed some of it, don't worry. This whole thing that I've done today is all being recorded. I will take the recording of this and I will upload it as a replay on my YouTube channel. So if there's anything that you're like, wait a minute, I don't understand what's going on, it's okay. I am taping this whole session. I will be downloading it and uploading it to my YouTube channel. It should be there by tomorrow morning. And in my link in my profile, there will be an outline with all the notes about what I'm talking about today and exercises to take the stuff that I talked about and put it into practical use. So don't worry if there's stuff that you guys missed, it's okay. I'm almost done, and I promise when I'm done with this, I will open this up, and as many Q&A questions we want to do, we can totally do that, guys. So let me just make sure I've covered everything that we wanted to talk about today. I had to keep my notes out because I feel like if we don't do that, I'm going to miss something. So hold on a second. Okay, so let me make sure I caught everything. I think we did. Holy crapsy. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about a couple of other things. So when we talk about, whenever I mention energetic hygiene, what I am talking about is what you do on a daily basis, like the heart resonance exercise that I talked about earlier. It takes less than a minute in the morning, less than a minute at night, right? And anytime you need it during the day. You have that for anytime you need to help self-regulate and clear and reset your personal energy. Anytime you need it, it takes a second. It's just a hand on the heart, slow breath in, slow breath out. Because if you're doing the exercise, the full exercise in the morning and at night, you're going to be able to trigger your brain that whenever you put a hand here and a slow breath in and slow breath out, you'll get the same results. So that's how you maintain energy alignment in your physical body. Now, for your living space, like I said, you should only really have to do that once a month. I usually tell people, if you want to remember, set a timer, set it on your calendar, the first of every month. Another thing you can do too is, one thing I always say, if you remember to do this on the first of the month, you can also do this little energy booster, which is where you do with the cinnamon. And I don't know if I've talked about this before, and I can't remember if it's in my notes. If it's not, I'll talk about it real quick. It's kind of really cool. And the best time to usually do it is the first couple of days of the month. So you could even still do it today. It's okay. Nobody is sitting there going, but it's this date. It's okay. So the exercise and how you do it is, if you have ground cinnamon, right? You put a little bit of ground cinnamon in your hand, and what you're going to do is you're going to go step outside your door, open your front door, but stand out facing towards going in, like if you're getting ready to walk in your door. In that ground cinnamon that's in your hand, what I want you to do is you could just be swirling it like this, and I want you to think about what you want to manifest. You know, prosperity, a new relationship, better job, whatever it is that you want to bring into your life in the coming month. That is the time, as you are sitting there swirling that around in your palm, you are putting your intention in something that already has the energy to kind of stimulate and multiply whatever energy you add to it. So cinnamon is perfect for this. So you're just going to put that in your hand, and you're going to think about all the things you want to manifest this month. And then while your door is open, standing outside facing in, you're going to go and just blow it through the front door. Literally, that's all you need to do. So that's why I always tell people one of the best times to do this is, I say set the schedule for the first of the month. If you're just hearing this today, you're like, but it just passed. It's okay. You can still do it today. It will still work. Trust me. It's not going to not work if you don't get it on the first. You can still do it today and still have the cinnamon thing work. But I try to tell people it's a good way to get everything done in about 10 to 15 minutes once a month. So resetting the energy in your living space is super easy to do, and it's easy to maintain. And the more you are resetting your own energy with that, you know, like I said, less than a minute in the morning and less than a minute at night, you are resetting and aligning your personal energy. So yes, moving forward, there's a lots of stuff that you can do to make this even better, but this is energetic hygiene. This is the basic everyday stuff that will help you reset and reconnect with who you really are, clear all this excess energy out, start sleeping better, and start feeling more comfortable, grounded, and rooted in your own living space. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. So like I said, if you guys did not catch this from the beginning, it's okay. I went ahead and this whole thing has been recorded, and what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to download it when this is done, and I will upload it, and it should be there by tomorrow. It should be in my YouTube channel. There will be a link in my profile that should take you over to my YouTube channel. in my profile, there is also a link for the outline and the little workbook for this exercise, for this workshop, which means it'll have like an outline of notes of everything I talked about. It will also have some practical exercises for you to try things out moving forward, so you don't have to remember what you had to do to take notes or any of that. It's all there for you. It's free to download. It's just a PDF that when you click on it, you'll be able to download it, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. So if anybody is here that has any questions, I'm open for Q&A. If you have any questions about how to reset your energy, or maybe you want me to explain a little better about something I talked about, I'm open for any questions if anybody wants to ask. So, and let me grab my water because I am sitting here chatting away and I haven't drank water the whole time. So other than that, so thank you for whoever showed up today and whoever's been clicking away at those hearts. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I will be doing more different workshops where I do more in-depth ones, but I wanted to test out how it is to do live events like this in TikTok. I'm also going to start testing out live events on YouTube and figure out which one works the best to do workshops. And then I'm going to be able to do ones that are more in-depth. I'm going to start, I want to be able to live stream some events moving forward, because for starting in the beginning of November, I'm going to be traveling for 6 weeks. And so I will have opportunities to be able to live stream from some really cool locations. And so I'm hoping to get this figured out before I leave. So hopefully that makes sense. So like I said, I was gonna say, if anybody has any questions, you can put them down in the comments. If not, that's okay. Like I said, if you missed any of this, this is all being recorded. I'm gonna download that and I'm gonna totally upload that to my YouTube channel. It may not happen until tomorrow, where it'll be available, but over there, if you don't remember and you're able to click on the video over there, in the description will be the link to download what it has. But if not, you're in TikTok. If you go up to my profile, it should be in there. When you click on the main link to go into my Stand Store link, it will be a link in there to download the little workbook from this workshop for free. It's just a PDF that you download and you can print out. So yeah. Oh, that's okay, my dear. It's okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's another reason why I said this is kind of cool doing live events in places like TikTok and YouTube, because it will actually record this for me, and then I'm able to download it and upload it and put it on YouTube, so that way if you miss it. I did a workshop a couple weeks ago about twin flame connections. I was busting through a bunch of myths, and so that's another one that got downloaded and uploaded to my YouTube channel, and there's also a little workbook for that one too. So I'm going to start doing more of these little live workshops moving forward, but I'm still, like I said, trying to work this all out, testing it out and see how it works. So other than that, thank you guys, whoever wandered in. Like I said, if anybody has any questions, I'll totally answer them, but like I said, if for some reason you think of a question later and it didn't happen till now, when you go over to my YouTube channel and it gets posted, you can post questions down in the comments and I will respond over there. So hopefully that makes sense. And I don't think there's any questions. So I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm going to take a little break and then I'll be back online. Listened to you last night. Oh my goodness. Well, hello. Thank you for coming back. Yeah, I will be doing a lot more stuff about the twin flame journey. I'm going to do a lot more in-depth walkthroughs with people, because I want to do more than just a little workshop like I've done in a past, where I've done ones that go much more in depth and it walks you through a lot of stuff, and they have like once a week videos or live things once a week for like a couple of weeks in a row, and we go into much more in depth. I'm going to start doing things like that again too, because there's a lot of people that really want to understand more about what's going on with the journey, how to function and work with what you have here energetically, and a lot of different things. So I will be doing more about the twin flame stuff. So if it's something you may be interested in, when you go over to my YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe. It's free to do that. And when you subscribe to that, it is also going to be you'll get alerts every time I post something new on my YouTube channel, like when I upload this tomorrow, the taping from this, it will go ahead and send an alert out to whoever has subscribed to my channel. What is the live about? Oh, The workshop I'm doing right now is the one that's about resetting and clearing your own personal energy and resetting and clearing the energy in your personal space. The live event that I'm going to be back for by 6 o'clock, it's almost 5 o'clock here. So in about an hour, I'll be back on live. When I do my regular live events on TikTok, I do personal readings, and because I am an intuitive tarot reader. I usually specialize in twin flame connections, so a lot of the stuff I talk about is about that, but I do personal readings. I do ones that are even just want to know what's going on with your finances or career. So I do live events like that every Wednesday through Sunday for at least a couple hours in the evenings. So yeah, so this live is the one that was kind of like, this one was a workshop, and there is, if anybody was watching this and they're like, wait a minute, I didn't catch all of this, it's okay. This whole workshop got recorded, and I'm going to download it and upload it to my YouTube channel. If you weren't able to take notes and you're like, I'm so lost, it's okay. There is a whole outline for this workshop I just did with all the notes about everything and some exercises to kind of implement the stuff we talked about. There is a link in my profile. When you go to it, you will find there is a link in the link. You click on it and there'll be different buttons. Some of them will say order your live reading. You go down a little further and one of them will say the workbook for this energy reset workshop. Click on that. It's a PDF. It's free to download, and it has all the notes outlined from this workshop, and like I said, it has some exercises in it to try things out at home. And if you want to watch this, like if you missed any part of it or you want to watch it again, the replay of this will be over on my YouTube channel. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. You're so welcome. Thank you. So I'm going to go, like I said, take a little break, and then I'll be back on to go do some live readings in a little while. But you guys take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. Live readings in a little while, but you guys take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.